Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk with Dan with the Eastside Real Estate Team. And our first guest today is Sheila Storrer. And Sheila Storrer is the owner-operator of Sheila Storrer Life and Leadership Coach. She's got 20 years as a licensed independent clinical social worker and therapist. Sheila brings a unique understanding of opportunities, the challenges that people face in all areas of their lives. She works with women in every stage of their lives, from recent college grads finding their way in the corporate world to people reinventing themselves in retirement and through the many transitions in between. Her training as a life and leadership coach emphasizes a holistic approach that looks at the interconnectivity of our professional and personal lives and addresses the deep-seated perceptions and attitudes of women held back. Welcome to the show, Sheila.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your afternoon. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I think you are a recent empty nester. Is that correct?
Yes. I wasn't sure. It was touch and go there for a while, but both my sons were able to head back. So this is very bizarre. It's like my kitchen stays clean. My house is quiet, which isn't necessarily a good thing. It's very eerie. It's so quiet around here, but we're figuring it out.
Yeah, it's interesting that the pandemic changed it all for us. We had a child heading off to college.
Oh, you did as well.
So the youngest was excited to be the only and was really looking forward to that, but it's changed it all. So we're a full house for now, but you know how quickly that changes, and then you got to look around and go, what am I going to do with myself, right?
Totally.
So what made you decide to become a coach?
So I am a social worker and also a therapist. And what I found with my clients is that I found that I was having a lot of forward focused conversations. Like, how do you want your future to be? What do you want to create? And those are typically coaching conversations. So about, it's been 5 years now. I went back to school and I went to accomplishment coaching and completed a 1-year coach training program and transitioned to my business. And I really love it. I love having those kinds of conversations.
All right.
Really fun.
So what exactly is a coach?
Okay, that's such a great question. I love to really kind of, especially with given my background, I like to give a little bit about how coaching is different than therapy, because a lot of times people aren't sure. And that's actually the first question that people will usually ask me when I say I'm a coach. They're like, what is that and how is that different? And so how I'd like to describe it is, in therapy, we're doing a lot of healing. We're doing a lot of looking to the past. We're doing a lot of processing of emotions, all awesome stuff, all stuff that is so wonderful. In coaching, we're not so interested in what happened or why you got to where you are. We're more looking at like, oh, you're like whole and complete. What do you want to create in your life? Like from here, like, what do you really want? So that's where we really start, is like getting that clear picture of what you want to create, and then taking a look at what's in the way. Like, and usually it's like made up stuff that we have in our heads. So it's really, it's like twofold. It's getting super clear on what you want to create, and then figuring out what's getting in the way of you creating it.
Well, who's somebody that you would say would sincerely benefit from the style of coaching that you provide?
What I love about what I get to do is I work with people who are up to all sorts of cool things, all different stuff. And so for me, it's not really so much about what they're trying to create. It's more about how can we make it happen? So I have clients who are writing books who hire me for, I've got this book I want to write. I just can't get it going. I have other clients who are starting businesses and they have this great idea and they just need support along the way. I have other people who are, trying to figure out how to level up at work. How can I really show up powerfully? And then I also have people who are like, I have no clue what it is. Like, I have no clue how I want my life to look. And so with clients like that, we spend a lot of time like really looking at, what are you passionate about? Like, what do you value? Like, what is it? And then we kind of start from there.
So break down kind of a typical client experience. How does it work when somebody calls you and says, okay, I would like some outside help here?
Yeah. So usually how we start the conversation is, what is it? Like, what is that thing that you're craving in your life? Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's like, I want to be in a relationship. Sometimes it's like, really want to create a side hustle. Sometimes it's like, I really want to work on family stuff. Like, I have this idea of how I want my family to be. Like, can you support me to get that? And so initially what we do is we spend a lot of time just getting super clear, like, what is it? And then we put goals in place, we put structures in place. I'm really big on creating accountability in your life. The one thing that I feel very fortunate to have is to have the mental health background that I can get on a conversation, get on the phone, and during a first conversation, I can really help people sort out, is coaching going to be most supportive, or maybe therapy is going to be most important? Maybe it's like, yeah, maybe you need to go and maybe do a little therapeutic work, and then we can work together. I also have clients where they're working with a therapist and with a coach, and that actually works super. That's really great. So
that puts you in a position of being able to just really focus on the future and not have to focus, be stuck in the past. Well, not stuck, but working on the past.
Yeah, and sometimes there's some work that we need to do on our past, and there's some stuff that we need to clean up or get clear on, or kind of like sort through.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I can get a sense of that through a conversation, and really, and if someone does need to do some therapy, then I have great resources that I can send them to. And so for me and my work, it's less about, like, someone might say like, oh, I'm this way because, okay, I'm just making this up. Like, I'm this way because when I was 10, my mom or dad said blah, blah, blah. And in coaching, from a coaching place, we'd be like, okay, that happened. Like, what do you want to do about it? Like, okay, from here, like, yeah, that's your thing. Like, and that's just your thing. Like, now what are we gonna, how can you move forward? Where in therapy, we might really sit with that. We might really dissect that and get into whatever that thing is. Both super powerful, both really helpful. It's just two different ways to look at the same sort of thing.
What are some examples of some of your most powerful outcomes that you've helped someone achieve? If you can share, obviously any confidential stuff, obviously not, but.
Yeah, for sure. I have a client who finished her book. She was just so stuck around it, was just making it mean all these things about her that she was struggling with it. We put together a plan, really got her present. What I really love to do is help my clients get really present to the vision. Because if you have that really powerful vision, that's the thing that's going to pull you forward when you're like, I don't want to do the thing. But if you can represence yourself like, oh yeah, I'm doing it because this is this amazing thing I want to create,
yep,
you're going to get out of bed and work towards the thing. I have another client she was in her mid-20s and just started working at a tech company, and was just really trying to find her way in that transition between college, who am I, what do I want to do, to really like showing up powerfully at the grown-up table is what we used to call it. Like, how do you want to be at the grown-up table? And she just really, really stepped into her leadership. And
we're not talking about Thanksgiving right now, right?
No, I know, right? We often have conversations about how we want to be with our families at Thanksgiving as well.
Okay, all right, very good. So how is? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, what I'm finding during COVID that's been pretty interesting, because this is a hard time, right? And so it's really looking at, how can we still have a life that we want? Like, how can we create relationships? How can we grow our businesses? How can we date? How can we? It's been very it's been interesting at the beginning of COVID, where a lot of people were like, I can't have what I want. And now I think people are looking at, hey, we're going to be in this for a while. Like, we don't know, like, I really want that thing. It may look a little different. It may go about it a little different, but how can I still get that life that I want in the midst of some really insane circumstances?
Insane. Yeah, I would say that from a challenge standpoint, even starting a new business in this type of environment, and there are a lot of people that have had to reinvent themselves just out of necessity. And
Absolutely.
Is that an example of somebody that you could come alongside and help guide them getting their business started or finding their focus there?
Yeah, I have a lot of clients who've really had to make some big changes, you know, people that are used to doing in-person events, people that are used to doing like face-to-face sales. How do I get my business online? Can I even still have my business? How can I change it?
Mm.
So just spent a lot of time just doing a lot of brainstorming and you know, it's been, I think that's the one thing through the pandemic. It's been remarkable what the shifts that people have made in such a short amount of time. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. People's resilience and creativity.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah,
Well, Sheila, that's about all the time we have. Do you have anything special that you'd like to offer any of those folks watching or listening to this?
I would. I would love to offer anyone who's interested in, I've been calling them laser support sessions. They're 30-minute sessions where you can jump on a call with me and we can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about COVID, how to get supported, how to create self-care. We can talk about an idea that you have around your business. We can talk about maybe some stuff that's going on at home that you need some support around with your kids or being with your spouse all the time at home. I'd love to offer that to anyone. And you can either message me through Facebook, drop a comment, or yeah, message me.
Okay. Do you have a phone number or would you prefer email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Phone number, I'd love a call or a text. It's 425-941-9194. And even if you're just really struggling with COVID, give me a call. I can give you some ideas on how to get some support.
All right, Sheila. Thank you so much for coming on today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Next after this short break, we're going to be speaking with Ingina Schulman of Lotus Media. So come right back after this short commercial break.